Hi, welcome to A Balanced Life, A Better Life. I'm Barbara Bertucci, and I am here in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I'm just so blessed to be here today. And we are going to share. Here we go. And get it going. And then it just takes me a second. Show. I love when that happens. Yay! Okay. We go to the speaker view. I think that'll work. Okay, so active wellness. Nikken came into my life 25 years ago, and I have more energy today than I did in my 30s. And it's just been a gift. And every day that we have our vitality, our energy, and our stamina, it makes such a big difference. And every day we don't, it's just grueling, and you hate to have anybody in your family have any of those issues occurring. So here's the compounding effect. And I love this because it can actually map onto income, relationships, happiness, success. But we're going to talk about it with health right now. So I'm just going to pick on McDonald's. But if you ate McDonald's today, once a quarter, no big deal. But if you ate it every day as your meal, it's not healthy for you, and you will go on the downhill spiral. We need to nurture ourselves. We need to fuel our body, and we need to make really good choices. And every little choice, drinking a glass of water, sleeping, going to bed a half hour early, every different choice we make makes a big difference on our habits, on our happiness, and on our health, our vital energy. And that's what we're here to talk about. So we can be that vibrant person with her hands raised up and just really going. Okay. So sleep, stress is an important, it's a common denominator on all aspects of sickness. And I mean, right here, heart disease, diabetes, fatigue, allergy, it affects the whole gambit. And that's actually, I think, what was one of my main issues, because when my back hurt so bad, every time I rolled over, it would just wake me up. I had interrupted sleep, and then it would take me hours to go back to sleep. So now we have sleep. So interrupted sleep is a big factor in today's society, because there's a lot of stress. We're all in this, I call it hibernation. But we need to make sure we're getting good quality sleep and getting rejuvenated, recuperated, and detoxing our system so that our immune system can be at the best, highest and best. And then now that we are hunkered in, this indoor outdoor air, oh my goodness, millions of, in Florida now we have double, even triple pane windows for hurricanes and such. So we now need to make sure our filters are good and that we're getting good, pristine, clean air, just to nurture our body. If we can give ourselves optimum environment, like the greenhouse effect, it will make a difference in our world. And then water. I think everybody's aware of water, and that for the bottled water is just going off the charts. But also, how do we even know what's in bottled water, right? They say it contains over 24,000 chemicals. And a few of those affect your endocrine system, which is what? It's your hormones, all your balancing and such. And that can be just from the water you drink. That's not good. So health trends. I don't think I need to talk much about the obesity that's happening with children, or I'm not going to read this, is what I mean. But 70 million adults have it and 12 million children. And these statistics are from 2012. So we know that we've been on the rise. So those numbers are probably very low. We need to get up. We need to get out. We need to exercise, and we need to connect and get from behind, these systems, but right now we need them. Thank goodness we have them, right? These computers and such. So what's the answer? Take personal responsibility, self-care, be healthy by choice, not by chance. And that is really what Nikken's all about. I love the hands over the home, just nurturing us, and to choose active wellness. So one of our philosophies is the 5 pillars of health. And I like to put in that star our spirituality. So when I was affected, when my body was out, my mind was affected, my family was definitely affected, but I could not give to society. I barely had it for my family. And that did affect my finances, as I was only doing part-time in the medical field. But here's Nikken Wellness Home. Oh my goodness. So we've got the air filter, we've got the water filter, we've got great nutritionals, we've got great sleep support. So all these things impact our environment of how we sleep. So if we can bring that in, how great is that to balance out the area? And it can be one step at a time, water or air or sleep, or you can do it all in one lump sum and get the whole ensemble, because we bring outdoor energy inside, natural energy. So here we have the packs. We've got nutritional skincare, environmental, and rest and relaxation. And anytime you hear the word pack, you're going to save money, just so you know. And then we have ways of saving money on auto ships as well, any of our consumable nutritionals or the filters. And so I think right now, this is a good time. And if you want me to come back to the slides, I will. But I am so privileged and welcome Lacretia Dodd on from California. She's from Northern California. And let's see, you've been in Nikken for now like 2 years and so, but I just want to hear your story. I want to hear a little bit about how you were before and then what you did to help yourself out. Okay?
So good morning, and thank you for having me, Barb. I just wanted to say that before I started Nikken for over 15 years, I couldn't sleep. I hurt in my neck, my hands, and it was just like crucial. And I did this for many, many years, and this played as a part and a role in my everyday life. And that was just the self-talk that I gave myself, because I'm a mother of 5. And I work in the hospital industry, and I was continuing to, work, until it came to the point where I started to see that I was having a dip in my income a couple of times, in gaps of years, because I had to go off work on leaves. And so that was kind of traumatizing. And I came to the conclusion that there was just something that I needed to do. I didn't know what it was. I had even gotten high blood pressure and had a really, really bad allergic reaction to a blood pressure medication. And I woke up on Christmas, and that was horrible. So at that point, I made a decision with myself, and I said that healthcare, there's something wrong with our system. And there was something that I needed to do myself. And so with myself, I needed to create some kind of self-care regimen. So I didn't know what that was. And so I went into like deep prayer and meditation. And my mother-in-law kept on telling me about a lady that had magnets and all this water and this different stuff. And I'm like, what kind of stuff is that? And so I ignored her, for about a year. And one day, me and my husband, we were just both in agony and having a lot of crucial pain. And he ended up saying, hey, let's go see the lady with the magnets. And I'm like, the magnets that go on the refrigerator? And I was like, okay, let's go see her. So we went and we got this amazing demonstration. And I was just flabbergasted at the fact that when I received this demonstration, I went to her house and I was in a lot of discomfort. And over the years, I started to tell myself that my hand injury was just a misunderstanding with my body. And there was something that I needed to figure out to understand what was going on. So when we got this demonstration, I was able to see a change like right away. I was able to see the effect of the technologies and the products. And I wear my bracelet every day. And so she put a bracelet on me. I stood on magnetic insoles. I drank water. And as she was going to grab other things, I was telling my husband, because I didn't know, I didn't understand the technologies. And I was like, what is this? I was like, where did you bring me? Like, and so as I was telling him, I was like, babe, I'm not in any type of, I'm not hurting. I just don't feel anything. I feel normal. And, I was feeling really, really bad when we were on our way here. And he says, really? But of course, men, he was like, okay, are you really feeling better? I'm like, no, I'm feeling better. So during those years, I suffered from no sleep. And the reason I didn't have any sleep, because at night, I'm a pharmacy tech in the hospital. I was working 12-hour days. And so 60 hours a week. And when I would get home, I would cook dinner, deal with the kids, and, at night, go to bed maybe about 11 o'clock. And literally, I wouldn't fall asleep until like maybe sometimes it was about 2 or 3 in the morning. And then I had to get up at 6 and do it all over again. And so there were nights where sometimes my husband, he sleeps really, really hard. He snored a lot before we got our sleep system, but he'd sleep so hard that I would literally just be laying there sobbing, in tears, because I hurt so bad and I didn't know what to do. And so when I found Nikken and these technologies, I was just amazed. I felt better. And over the years, I had tried acupuncture. I had tried physical therapy. I would take off work for months at a time. And the months that I took off was mainly like the cold season, because that's when I didn't have any grip, a lot of swelling and inflammation and things of that nature. So I'd have to take off. And of course, my husband would have to pick up the remainder because I'd be at home on disability. And Nikken just came into my life at a time where at first I didn't allow it to come in. And so once I allowed it to come into my life and I received it, there was just no way that I couldn't share these products with anyone. And I say that because my experience was going from hurt, agony, discomfort. The word I use always is a misunderstanding with my body and all of these type of ailments that was going on. And I started to feel really, really good. And so I started to feel like a human again, because there was a point in my life where I went through depression. And, my kids were too young. They didn't understand it, so I didn't speak to them. I really didn't talk to my husband about it. I just felt like I had to be this super mom and just, do what I needed to do, as many, many women do. So gravitating and collecting to these technologies and these products, it changed my life. 10 years ago, I was told that I wouldn't be able to do this. And I can do this. And so I love it, and
Yes.
I'm just glad that I saved the time and had the belief. And my biggest thing was I didn't want to do a surgery. When I would talk to my doctor, I always asked, is there anything natural that I can do? Because my mom, when we grew up, she was a naturopath, and I wanted something natural. I just didn't want to self-medicate and, depend upon that. I wanted to feel better. I just didn't know how. And when I found Nikken, that allowed me to receive that. And so now I don't have those, discomforts. I'm sleeping through the night. I got a sleep system. I created a whole wellness home in my house for myself and my children. And it's just kind of like been all uphill for me. And it just over that short period of time, I was able to, go from 15 years, maybe even longer of this, to for the last 3 years, healthy body, healthy mind, and all of that. And it makes a big difference when you're the woman of the house. If the lady of the house doesn't feel good, the house is in shambles.
Now, I want to take you back for a moment, because, you were looking for something, you were grasping not to have surgery, but to really better your situation. But then you took baby steps. So you first after you had the experience of the demonstration, then you used some of the things on your wrists, and 50% better, 10%, what are some numbers that maybe?
So let's say with numbers then, because I like to tell everybody about these numbers. So, one being, no discomfort at all. 10 being an excruciating, feelings. And so when I went to my sponsor's home at the time, I was probably over a 10 in both hands. And so when we stayed there for every bit of probably about 2 hours, because we were having just so much fun, and we were really entertained with what was going on. And when I left her house, I was probably at a 4.
Nice. Wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
And
great.
when I say that these numbers, when I talked to my husband about it at the time, he didn't believe it. But we both slept that night really, really good, really well. And I hadn't slept in years.
Wow. Wow. And who is your sponsor? Go ahead and tell us. Who is she?
My sponsor is Lois Wilburn.
Lois Wilbur. And
Yes.
so, I mean, there isn't a day probably that goes by you're like, oh, thank you, Lois, because she's the one that got you and connected you to Nikken. And that's what
Yes.
we do. We help people find out about these technologies, but we connect them to their own life, their own, vitality and energy. And I mean, we all are aging, but we don't need to get old. And with
Exactly.
5 children, I can't even imagine. I had 2 going through what I was going through, but you can't imagine life because you're just in such agony. You're just making it through the steps you need to do. Now,
Exactly.
Nikken's giving you back your life, which is priceless, right? And so,
Yes.
um, what was that decision from getting the things to help your hands and wrists
Mhm.
to the sleep system and the wellness home and all that? What was that for you?
So I waited about 2 weeks before I purchased anything. I purchased a
Oh,
mag chip and the wrist wrap, and that's what I wore. And I started telling people about it before I knew anything about the sharing part of the team building. And Lois would say, you have people calling me, do want to join? And so I still didn't get it because I still had a foggy brain at the time, is what I call it. And so when I did gravitate to it, I started thinking, I said, just like you can you can make money to, create an income for yourself. I know you talked to me about wanting to work from home. And I said, this may be an idea, because I know so many people that suffer from the same thing, and they just live in the agony and the hurt. And I said I could be an advocate, to help other ladies, to not live that way and to help them to feel better. And so since then, that is exactly what I started doing. I built a team. I started helping people. I went back to school to become a health coach. So I started doing that, and that's been going amazing. So now I'm just pretty much working on a program to be able to create an active wellness program for women, to uplift them and to help them, to not hurt and to be their number one self-care, self-leader in this reality of what we call life.
nice. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being out here today. And during this time, I'm going to go back to my slides to end with this, just to share with you guys. Okay, so these are some of the packs that we have. And there is a sleep system pack and an energy pack now as well. They've kind of divided up the rest and relaxation. But anytime you have that, you are going to save money. But also, I want to underline nighttime, daytime products, because that is a big deal, because you start to unwind and de-stress at night, and then you're going to wind back up in the day if you don't have something on you. And that's why she held up her power, her power bands and the necklaces and the different things that we have. So let's begin your new success story: active wellness and living a life in balance. And there again is our 5 pillars of health, just to kind of see where are we out. I mean, it's always a balance. We're always working on something in one area or another. But where would you consider yourself out, and where could this possibly be something that could help you or your family with Nikken? So discover it, live it, share it. You can become a customer. There's no cost for that. We've reduced the price of everything so that it used to be that we would have wholesale buyers. We don't do that anymore. We just have, if you're going to build a business or be a customer, and support your friends by doing that. It's just like Amazon: name, address, phone number, email. Or become a part-time entrepreneur. Get your feet wet, get your stuff built up, and get your packs and start your wellness home and your business where you can have a great tax write-off as well. Or become a full-time entrepreneur. Thanks for being here. Get with the person that shared this video with you. We are so blessed to have this opportunity of Nikken, and hope to see you along the way.